Hello, welcome back to AJM Learn. Today I thought I would talk about 10 Squarespace features that are maybe more hidden, we might not know about. They release a lot of stuff, it's hard to keep up with, so I'll show you the ones that I tend to forget about or think that maybe you guys haven't heard about, maybe you have. Loom is being annoying and I can't get rid of this little bar over here, so just excuse that small distraction. Okay, first one, I'm going to kind of rapid fire through these. So first one is to double click on the blue arrow in a section to get rid of extra rows. So for example, you're designing and you end up where this section's like all the way down here. Sometimes crazy stuff happens and it's like down here. Kind of a new feature, you can actually just double click this blue icon and it brings it all the way back up. Such a small thing, but it's really satisfying and just like a little less annoying than having to drag it around. Next one, these are really random. So hopefully at least one of these you're like, oh, cool. Next one, add a hidden field to a form. So this is really good for tracking which URL a form came through. I get this question a lot with clients and I think it's quite unknown. My SEO guy is the one who actually told me about this. So on your form, go into the pencil here, go into edit form fields. I already have this here, but you just go to add field and you would choose hidden. And within the settings here, just label it, add whatever you need here to these values. But essentially, yeah, this is helping you when you're tracking where people are filling out the form. You can track it that way by that hidden field, which is really cool. Instead of adding, you can do all of this, of course, with other marketing tools, but it's just an easy way to do it. Next one, enabling express cart. So what this does is if I kind of recommend this only if you're selling one product for the most part, but it sends the visitor directly to checkout after adding a product to their cart. So what you want to do is come into settings, go to selling, go to cart, and then you can enable express checkout right here. So what that's going to do now is the second someone adds something to their cart, and this is just my sandbox site where I like do fake stuff. So I don't really have any real stuff. Let's see if it actually works. When someone adds something to their cart, there you go. It takes them straight to the cart. So, again, if you're only selling one product, I think this is really useful. So they're not like, okay, like I'm just stuck on this page now. Up to you based on the flow of your site, but it can be really useful. Okay, next, requiring additional fields at checkout. So this is nice. I find this works a lot. Is really useful for a lot of my services clients. So they might need, more information for someone who signs up for their services, their address, their, level of knowledge, whatever this based on the service, they might need a little more info when someone signs up. So again, you're going to come back to settings. You're going to go to selling again, down to checkout, down toward the bottom, additional fields. Click enable custom checkout form, edit custom form. And then here, similar to when you're setting up a regular form, you can set up what you want people to fill out as they're checking out on your site. So let's just call this additional info. I'll save it for the purpose of the demo here. And then as people, I don't even have the cart showing on this site. Let's do it this way. And as people are signing up here, they will then need to fill out whatever that additional information is. You can, of course, title this differently. You can add any form fields you want, but they'll need to do that along the way so you can gather more info. Next, export form submissions to a CSV file. I'm realizing there's a lot about forms in here. So let me get back to my little fake homepage where I have all these elements. So on any form, you can also click on the form, click the pencil, go over to storage. And this is actually a pretty new feature. You can click this button here and it instantly downloads all of the submissions to a CSV file. So kind of like a Google Doc kind of layout. So you can get all that information in one spot. Can definitely be useful for if you ever think you miss a form submission or if you're just trying to gather information or, export those emails somewhere else or import them into like contacts. Great way to do that. Next would be adding videos to a gallery. This one, I feel crazy. I've designed a Squarespace for 10 years. And this one I just recently learned through, I was looking for a solution to something else and came across this. So add your gallery. So just on your page, go to add block, choose gallery. In the gallery, click the pencil. And I'm so used to coming in here and going to upload images. I've quite literally never noticed this plus sign down in the bottom right corner. And if you click that, you can add a video. So with this, you are required to upload the video. You can't like link from YouTube or anything, but super cool. Easy way to be able to add a video gallery, which I somehow didn't know that we could do. Next, I have a whole post on this. I have a whole post on a few of these. They're all kind of like linked in this post. But next would be using your miscellaneous font for your monospace font. And I kind of use this as a third or accent font. So here's how. Go to your site styles, go to fonts, under miscellaneous right here. Set this to whatever you want. I'll just show you. Let's choose like something that stands out so you can tell it's very different. So I'll choose that. And how you're going to use that, I use this a lot as like eyebrow text or just like little call out text. When you're editing some text, you want to choose monospace, and it's going to use that font, which is really cool. Just a great way to bring in an accent font to the site. You do want to be aware because that miscellaneous font is used in some places like metadata and are showing like the metadata of blogs and things like that. So it is a little tricky to use it. Just make sure, it looks good for those applications as well, or you could always change it with CSS. You can change the color of this with CSS as well. I have that in the post. Next, enable test payment mode. So one of my favorite ways to test a payment on an e-commerce store is just to like create a 100% off discount code and just test it that way. But you can actually also turn on test payment mode, which is really nice. So how you do this is we're going to go back over to selling in your settings, go to payments, scroll all the way to the bottom. A note, this is in the post, but I really want to note you do have to have a payment method set up. So Squarespace payments, PayPal, Square, you have to have something set up for this to populate. So you're not even going to see it here. What's going to happen is this is just like my play around site, so I don't have one connected. Once you connect one, here at the very bottom, there will be a new option where you can toggle on enable test payment mode. And that allows you to test your store. It makes your store not work for visitors, so be aware of that, but you can test it yourself without having to make purchases. It gives you the instructions on there, and I have a whole post on how to use that as well. But kind of a cool workaround. All right, this is a newer one that is extremely useful. And I think if you're designing in Squarespace every day, you probably are excited about and you use all the time. But in case you missed this release, because it's one of my favorite releases of all time, is the layers panel. So let's start over in mobile. Let's add, let's pretend I have this like image I'm using here. And let's say over in mobile, for whatever reason that might be, whether it takes up too much space or whatever, I actually don't want to show this image on mobile. Just click on that element, click this layers panel. It'll be highlighting that element and you can turn it off. And this is only turning it off on mobile. So when you go back to desktop, it's still there. You can do the same on desktop. So let's pretend for, again, whatever reason you don't want the text on desktop, and really cool. You can like toggle all these things on and off. This is probably one of the greatest releases ever. Makes our lives way easier for making mobile even better. And then lastly, this is also semi-new, but QR codes I feel like are still everywhere. I mean, I keep thinking they're going to go away, but they don't. So beside any of your pages, you can click the gear and scroll down to because it's the store. So it's any page, not the store, my bad. So I click on home. You can toggle on QR code. It'll immediately generate it and you can click download right here. And excuse my dog barking in the background because she wants dinner. Okay, hope these were helpful.